Welcome, everybody. While Lee's getting us on Facebook, we're so glad you're here. Definitely chat in. Let us know where you're listening in from, how you've been doing on this 12-week master and franchise owner action plan. We're so excited you're here.
I am very excited, and we should be good to go on Facebook and Zoom. So hello, everyone.
Hello. Welcome. Well, let's get right into it, Leigh. I'm so excited to be here training with Leigh. We are on week 7. If you guys caught the previous weeks, so fantastic hearing from Jim and Andrew Chi and Andrew Weissman. Oh my goodness, it's just been incredible. So Leigh and I are going to be talking about following up and closing, and we're so glad we are because we think this is pretty important. So if you don't know who I am, which would be odd, but my name is, maybe you're brand new. My name is Melanie D. Nelson. I'm the director of sales for TLS, but I've been an unfranchised owner since 2007. I've personally been in the health industry since 2000, and I've been a business owner my entire adult life, and I'm an international speaker and trainer, and I absolutely love training on our business principles, and I'm so thrilled to be here with Leigh.
And my name is Leigh Raeder. For those of you that don't know, I am a motives field consultant with the company. I have a huge passion not only for the motives, skincare, and layer division, but everything that our company has to offer. I was a Motive Certified Trainer of the Year in 2017. I'm a Senior Master Coordinator. I've been a Master Cosmetologist for over 28 years, and I'm a former salon owner, so I can relate to a lot of you in the field, and it's really great to be here tonight with you, Melanie.
Yeah, so excited.
And we do have a couple shout outs right from last week. So I want to shout out Stephanie Crawford because she had 7 people attend UBPs. So great job, Stephanie. But not only that, she had 3 unfranchised owners that completed the ECCT. So great job doing your homework, and keep up the good work, Stephanie.
Yeah, fantastic job. The more eyes you put on the plan, the faster you're going to find the right people. So way to go, Stephanie. That's awesome. I have a shout out for Denny Baton. Denny conducted 2 trial runs. So she's got some people in the process and working to help them succeed, which is awesome because the trial run is such a great way to get people successful before they even come on board. It just makes it a no-brainer, right? She showed the plan twice this past week. So she's really moving and shaking. She's got her funnel is full, and that is when it's fun and fast and furious, right? So keep up the great work, Denny, and everybody who's in on this accountability. We're so stoked for you guys, and keep reporting in no matter what. The habit of reporting in is so incredibly important, right? JR always talks about measure, monitor, and adjust. And you can't really do that unless you're tracking and reporting in. So our topic for the evening is follow up and closing. And we have a saying in Market America, right, Leigh? Fortune is in the follow up. In TLS, we always like to say the fun is in the follow up as well. And follow up is something that I feel is everything after the initial contact. So that means every text, every meeting, every call, every Zoom, every event, everything after that initial contact is technically under the follow-up umbrella. Wow, that's a lot. That means it's super important, doesn't it? So we need to follow up with our possibilities. We need to follow up with our customers, following up with prospects, and of course, our own teams. So constantly be following up, right?
Yeah, and this is really something that I personally have grown with my business. So that's why I'm really excited to talk about it tonight, because if any of you are like me, I didn't always know like what to say or how to follow up. And so we're really going to dig into some scripts and things that worked for us in real experience. And I hope that that helps you. But I found this very interesting, and it's talking about the art of follow-up. There was a study by Brevet, and according to the study, 80% of sales require an average of 5 follow-ups in order to close the deal. So how many of you have like maybe followed up 2, 3 times, 4 times and you were like, well, I don't know, I'm not getting anywhere, so I'm just going to quit this whole follow-up. It's not working. They're not interested. And sometimes we kind of talk ourselves out of it. Like we're talking for that person when really we don't know. And I've actually had people follow up with me for different things, and I always thank them for following up. I'm like, thank you so much for following up with me. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just busy. Or, people are busy. Lives get in the way. But the next point is 44% of sales reps follow up with a prospect only once before giving up. 44% is a huge percentage. I mean, one time, that's it. And after 4 follow-ups, 94% of salespeople have given up. 94%. So only 6% are actually following up more than 4 times. So my question to you is, why aren't you following up? And we're going to go through some things that might be in the way of that.
Yeah, for sure. There's really, before we kind of dive into that, because we know based on statistics, none of us are following up enough. And so we're going to get into that. But we do feel like variety is the spice of life when it comes to follow-up, right? And so that means that it could be texting a video, it could mean a 3-way call with a partner, or a Zoom, or sending a testimonial, or just a message to say hello.
Yeah, I always do that. If somebody pops in my mind, to me, that's a signal that I need to reach out to them. And it can just be, you know what, you popped in my mind. I wanted to reach out and see how you're doing. And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves with scripts and things like that, but it doesn't always have to be like about the business or about products. It can just be really building that rapport with someone or building that relationship and having that open dialogue with them.
Yeah, I think some people are concerned a little bit about feeling a little bit like a stalker, but chances are you're not following up enough. In fact, 48 to 72 hours is a good, every few days, because especially with potential customers, potential partners, or new customers or new partners, that's where you're really wanting to touch point with them every few days, because you got to keep that the messaging and the information in the forefront of their mind. I know one of my very dear friends, Trinity Haskins, talks about how, when they're excited about the product or when they're excited about the business, the thermostat is really high. They're hot. But the more time that goes by, the temperature is going down. They're not as hot. They're warm, they're lukewarm, they're cool. And so keeping something in front of them, and it's something small, something quick, some quick text, just something to put it in the front of their mind is really important.
I love that, because when you said that, I was thinking that too, like when they're hot, that's when you want to have like really consistent follow-up. And if they kind of grow cold, then your follow-up's going to maybe, it's not going to be necessarily every 48 to 72 hours. It can kind of space out a little bit more. But I always like to provide value with each follow-up as well, because we have so many things, like just in the motives department, we have all these free sessions and live sessions and, things that you can just reach out and invite them to. Or maybe it's something you heard and you learned about a product, or maybe it's an event coming up. There's always something that we can share with them. And I think people really appreciate that.
Absolutely. I think it makes people feel important. Define the next steps. They don't know, right? They don't know what's next. You do. You're the leader. You're the one who's more knowledgeable than they are in everything and anything Market America related. And so don't be afraid to say, and this is my favorite way to say it, is this is your next step, and then explain it.
Yeah. And the other thing that I really started doing when I was uncomfortable with follow-up is I would let them know I was going to follow up with them. I'm like, I'm going to be following up with you, and I will give them like a day, or when your product arrives, or, whatever it is. And I'll tell them why I'm going to be following up. And then they expect it. And then it's not awkward for me because, well, you have to follow up when you say you're going to. So it does hold you accountable, but they're expecting it. So they're a little bit warmer to it than you just kind of like out of the blue, maybe just reaching out to somebody that you don't have that relationship with yet, especially if it's a new contact. And they're always very open to that. They're like, okay, cool, because I'm telling them that I am.
Yeah, for sure. And it does, things don't need to go on forever, right? We don't need our appointments or our Zooms to go on forever. Everybody has busy lives, and this business is meant to be built on a part-time business. And so that, keeping that in mind, is staying duplicatable. So just keeping it brief is a good rule of thumb for sure.
I do like that. And, I'm all about finding the tools that work for you. I mean, I think we can all agree that there are so many tools out there, and some work great for some, and maybe some of you find others that you like. So the unfranchised marketing app, you guys, is like so amazing. I was actually just putting some things together for next week. And I get excited when I see like all of the things that we can do on it. And so make sure that you're going to attend not only the World Conference next week, but also the Unfranchised Marketing App Breakout, because I'm going to share some additional things that have worked for me with the app. But it's really great because it is a way to kind of keep you organized. There's a lot of different things there that you can share out to them. And then it lets you know if they viewed it. It lets you know if they clicked on it. So you're not sitting there wondering, did they look at that video? Did they click on the link? Are they interested? And then that's a cue for me to follow up with them again and say, oh my gosh, I saw you watch the video. I'm dying to know what you think, whatever it is. An Excel spreadsheet's great, just to keep track of your progress with someone.
Yeah. And really the key here is just, really finding the system that works for you and sticking with it. And I think with the unfranchised marketing app, it really is for the follow-up challenge, so, and then because it does take so much of the effort and work and wondering if they watched it. Oh, I don't want to ask them again if they watched the video. Like all of those weird feelings or situations that can kind of happen. The marketing app just eliminates that. It's so incredible. So if you haven't dived into that, you definitely want, because we have so many systems within it for all of our divisions. In fact, in the unfranchised marketing app breakout, you're going to be hearing from all of us in all of our divisions, talking about how to utilize it within your own division that you specialize in, or, and I'm going to be talking about promotional ideas, how to use it to promote. And I love, me, I love promoting, right? Learn that from, lots of things, but Jackie Blasco is one of the best promoters I know.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
But I want to hear from you in the comments. Like, what are some of the tools that you use that help you with your follow-up system? Sometimes I even just have a notepad on my phone, and I will keep track of people there too. And I'll write like what they're interested in, because sometimes you're out and about and you meet all sorts of people. But as soon as you get their information put in the app, it's really great because you can put hot, cold, you can kind of keep track that way too. But what about the sampling experience? I mean, this has really changed my business to be able to offer this to my customers.
No worries. What I love too about it is that the company has put together professionally written and designed content, and you can utilize it, but you don't necessarily have to utilize it. You can actually tweak it. Like you go to send the follow-up, and then you tweak it and personalize it. Okay, I'm going to read some of what, so Sharon is loving the app and learning how to use it. And Eric Giroux, hey buddy, he's using the app, he uses Excel, and he loves Google Calendar. Dude, I love Google Calendar because I can color code everything, right? It's so good. Jewel, I definitely encourage you to find a system that works for you. Steven's old school, he's all about the Excel, love that. Rodney's using Momentum Sheets, very fun. Christine Jones using the sample system. Rodney loves the Google Calendar too. Jewel loves the app. We've got a group here that's loving Google Calendar, Excel, and the app. I love that. I find that all of those things are absolutely fantastic. And it really is your own business, isn't it, Leigh? So it's important to really take ownership of that process.
And I love what Ken said, like a thank you goes really far too. Like I'm always thanking people, and every time I have contact with them, like I appreciate you, thank you, whatever it is, because I don't think people hear that enough. So why not say that?
Good
But
point.
the samples, you guys, like if you are not utilizing that, it's so professionally done, and the marketing material that goes along with it, you don't have to be an expert. It's all, right there for you. And that's really why I like it.
Yeah,
So
as soon as those customers are in the system and you've put them in there because you either gave them a physical packet, right? When you bought a 10 pack of the daily essentials, or you bought a 10 pack of Lumiere de Vie, or maybe you sent it through the app. As soon as that person is in there, those automatic drip messages are going, right? So they're immediately being followed up with, without you.
Yes, but I always use that as a cue to actually call or text them, because they're getting the email, and I'm always thinking, well, I don't know if they're going to see the email. People get a lot of emails. So I always call and text them, and so far when I do that, people respond immediately, and they're excited, right? They're excited about their sample. They're excited it's coming. They're excited that they got it. They're excited that they're going to try it. And if you keep that excitement up and keep it going, you're going to have great results.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some mistakes that we make. Well, I think the number one mistake, Leigh, is just not following up, right?
Yeah.
And that seems really obvious. So this is where we really want to talk about what might be holding you back from following up. And really, it just really comes down to, I think for a lot of people, is fears, right? Fear of maybe not knowing the answer, or fear of rejection, or fear of what if they don't like the product? What if they don't like the business? What are they going to think of me? There's all of these subconscious or maybe just semi-conscious thoughts going through our mind that are preventing us from taking that action and not following up. And we really, I feel like that is one of those, as we progress as unfranchised owners, it's one of those hurdles that we, it's like a rite of passage, it's like getting over that fear is a part of the journey to success as an unfranchised owner. Wouldn't you agree, Leigh?
Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, I saw it earlier, you feel like you're bugging people, just get that out of your head, get all of that out and change your thinking around it, right? They want you to follow up. They want the information. They want, just always think that until they say, stop, or that, whatever it is. And most people, I've never really had somebody say that. So, and if they do, don't take it personal. It's okay. A no is okay. A no gets you closer to a yes, right?
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I love it. And you never know what other gifts are going to come out of following up with people. For instance, I met a lady on the plane, and, it was one of those where I sat down and I kind of made an immediate judgment that this person wasn't somebody I was going to be interested in talking to. and this is like, I'm being honest here, being vulnerable. What happens is, human nature, we have the tendency to judge a book by its cover. And so I had made this prejudgment, but one of the things that I learned as an unfranchised owner is to acknowledge that and set it aside, and then talk to the person anyway. So it's like, yeah, okay, well, whatever. And so here I am talking with this lady next to me. And we ended up exchanging numbers and on Facebook, and, I followed up, and and this was, gosh, you guys, this was like, I don't know, 10 years ago. And she's never bought a product from me. But you know what? She's still a really close friend.
That's cool.
And that's like, this is what I'm saying, you guys. You have no idea what kind of blessings you're missing out on if you're not following up, or the possibility of truly blessing someone else's life. And I think that's really the attitude that helps overcome that fear. And the only way to overcome the fear of following up is to act in spite of it. And so it's like Leigh said, just get it out of your head and say, that's enough. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to bless someone's life today, right? Or I'm going to create a blessing in my own life today by following up with someone. And I think that's really, really key.
I like that. Don't make it about you, make it about them, because that's really what it's about. And I do have a feeling for some of you, you might use the excuse, well, I don't have time to follow up, or I forget to follow up, or this or that. That's why it's really important to just like figure out a system. Like maybe you're going to write it in your calendar. Maybe you're going to use some of those tools we talked about. And like anything, once you keep doing it and get that habit established, it's easy to keep on doing, right?
Oh, absolutely. I always put little reminders, like little 15-minute slots or 10-minute slots you can put in your calendar, call so-and-so, follow up with so-and-so, because I'm not one to always just have that on the top of my head. Yeah. Another reason that people might, not follow up is having that lack of confidence. And that's where I really feel like you need to work with a senior partner, because a senior partner or somebody who's successful in your team, who's got some experience, can kind of help you, because sometimes it's like, I don't know what to say. Right. And then what you do say kind of comes across like backpedaling or desperate. Right. We talked about how that cologne called desperation, you can be smelt from miles away. Right. So when you are feeling that sort of like, ooh, I don't have a lot of posture here, kind of lacking some confidence, and your message is a little bit maybe watered down, or you're backpedaling, like, oh, it's okay if you can't make it, or if you don't like it, it's okay, kind of, if you've got that energy, stop the message, do not send it. Get with someone who has a spine in this situation. And I find that I get that way when it's a very warm contact, when it's somebody I know personally. That's when I feel like I lack the most posture and follow up, when it's like
so funny that you say that, because I call that, especially with the retailing, talking someone out of the sale. Because I used to do that too. I know it's a lot of money. I know it's kind of a lot. You might not want to get it all at once. And I would make the decisions and talk them out of it, because it was awkward and it made me nervous. And it wasn't until I got the posture and would just ask for that sale and be like, so what are you taking home today? And say things like that. And now it's just like clockwork, because in all honesty, we can't decide for them. We don't know what they're thinking. And so we need to give them the opportunity to let us know. And so just ask, boom, that's it.
Exactly. I love that. So what did you just said, this was so good. What are you taking home tonight? When I'm doing a motives party, it's like, okay, I actually give them like a sheet and I'm like, this is your wish list, right? So everything that you even think you remotely want goes on the wish list. Mm-hmm. And then when it's done, I'm like, okay, what on your wish list are we getting tonight? And that's the statement. It's like, it's an assumption. It doesn't mean everything, just means what on your wish list are you getting tonight? And after a product event, like a TLS overview or a wellness event, I say things like, so which products for you tonight? Yeah. And that's it. And then I just wait until they say something. And
the next one that speaks loses. No, not really. But it's funny because you said assumption, and it is. You're assuming the sale. You're assuming a good response. You're assuming, why not put it out there? And I guarantee if you start doing that, you will start getting better results, because that changed, my business with my retailing, and even with building with new business partners, because I had the posture. And if someone feels like you need them or you're desperate, it's going to give them this awkward feeling, and they're going to back up, push away, and they're just going to be like, no, because it's not their decision, right? You're pushing them into it. I was never pushy either. I never like to push someone in doing something, but if having that confidence is allowing them to make their decision, in my eyes.
Absolutely. I think when we're really struggling with follow-up, it's because we're making it about ourselves. All of those fears we have around follow-up have to do with who? Right? Ourselves. And that means we're not actually thinking of the other person. And if we were actually thinking about what's best for the other person, we wouldn't have so many fears. We'd also understand that timing is everything, and not everybody is going to be a fit for moving forward right now, no matter if that's a product sale or the business.
And guess what? That's okay.
It's okay. Timing is everything. Keep following up and building a relationship. Be professionally persistent.
That's a good one. Professionally persistent. Not awkward, not weird.
Yeah, don't be weird. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, reference rule number 1. So,
yes.
Success is a process, not an event. You cannot close without proper follow-up. So a lot of people struggle in our business with closing new partners, or closing a sale, or closing a ticket sale. And it's really truly because the first part of follow-up hasn't happened. All of those 72-hour touch points we've been talking about, sending a video, sending a text to say, hey, giving them a call, getting them on a 3-way call, getting them on a Zoom, inviting them to an event, all of these things, all of these little follow-ups haven't happened. And now all of a sudden it's time to close. And you're like, well, I haven't really talked to them. Well, of course, now you can't close.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times, like, to me, I need to give them the information that they need, until they can make a decision to close them. So, whether it's they're kind of interested in the business and you take them through the process, like, I'm just going to keep giving them information until they're ready to be closed, right? So that's really all it is information.
Absolutely. I always say we're more in the education business than anything.
Yes.
So I feel like our Wellness 101 and our, motives events and our TLS overviews and our web centers, all of that is so educational. And that allows people to make a decision. Same with our business overview. It's not a whole bunch of hype, you guys. It's education. And what that does is it allows people to make a decision for themselves. You don't need to be making decisions for anybody else. We're all adults, right? I don't like it when people make decisions for me. So I certainly don't want to do the same thing to other people. So we have some scripts for you guys.
Yeah. So
and I think it's a good idea. You guys take some screenshots, right?
Yes, for sure. And like, obviously this is going to vary. So this is just going to give you some idea because it does change, but here's really my script for a new customer on a new product. Like I said, I let them know that I'm going to be following up with them, especially if it's somebody that I've never met and I don't know, and I'm just starting to build that rapport and relationship with them. So I would let them know I'm going to reach out to you when your order arrives, just to make sure everything arrived as expected and to answer any questions you have. Because a lot of times I don't have like a lot of things in stock. So 9 times out of 10, I'm having everything shipped right to them, even if we met, for a consultation via Zoom or in person or whatnot. And I don't know if something's going to happen with UPS and something's wrecked or whatever it is. And so I let them know I'm going to follow up with them. Now, once I know that it arrives, and I usually try to write it on my calendar, like their goodies are going to arrive this day, I should back up. I also ask them, is it okay if I send you a text? And I will find out how they want me to follow up with them. I do a lot of stuff through social media. So some things are through direct message. So I'll let them know, I'm going to follow up through direct message. Is that okay? And they're like, yep, that's cool. Or can I text you? Is that all right? They're like, yeah, that's cool. So once their product arrives, I will just send them a text and say, I noticed everything arrived. Have you had a chance to try, whatever product it is? And usually they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, it just came. Like, I haven't even gotten it out of, the box or whatever it is. But if they did, I'll say, did you have any questions on how to use it? And if they've tried it, you can say, what did you notice about it? I don't ever say like, so what did you like about it? Or, I'll just say like, what did you notice? And then once we have that conversation, I'll say, well, I'm going to reach out in a couple days to see how you're doing, especially if they just started trying it or they haven't tried it yet. I want to make sure that I keep following up, and then I will continue to build that relationship. a lot of times when I first meet them as well, if it's a consultation for products or even if I'm showing them the plan, I'll also ask like, hey, is it okay if like I connect with you on social media if we're not connected already? Because that's also a way that I can continue to build the relationship. You know, they can kind of see what you're doing in between the follow up. I also have a private group for some of my beauty clients. I'll ask them if they would like to be a part of that group. So there's so many different things that you can follow up. Another follow up that I have is when I do consultations, I'll put a lot of their products on a my list and I'll follow up with their my list. I'll send them a link to their my list. Like, I just want to let you know I put all of your products here. So when you are ready to reorder, you can click here or you can contact me and I'd be happy to help you. And people appreciate things like that. So there's so many things I could go over with the new product, but those are just a few that come to the top of my head.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's nice to throw in something personal as well. Like, when you know something about their life, like, oh, hey, how's, your daughter, or,
Yeah.
things of that nature. I have a TLS client, I actually have a team in the TLS Tone Up Challenge right now. So I'm meeting with them on Sunday nights, and last Sunday was the Super Bowl. So I was like, no team meetings, sorry. But I reached out with them, each of them personally. It's so nice to have that personal conversation. And then, I made a commitment with the new customer or the new team member to like what she was going to do for exercise this week. And so I remembered her commitment and I followed up with her today. And I said, how was Monday's workout? What's today's going to be? And sometimes like not even product related. It's just letting them know that I care about their progress and what they're doing.
I love that.
In regards.
It also shows that you were listening to them, right? Because people just really want to be heard.
And listening is a $1 million skill in the 21st century. Yep. Truly it is. And I have to be honest, I have to be really conscious about that, because I truly feel like our attention spans have just gone, they're gone. So it really has become $1 million skill to listen and to remember.
Wait, what was that? No, I'm just kidding.
So obviously we want to prompt some reorders, right? We want to keep that BV machine rolling for our team, and also for the legacy that we're building. And so reordering and having those regular customers is a really big part of our business success. And so prompting a reorder is so easy when you've done exactly what Leigh shared with you just now. As long as you followed up consistently from the start, this is not an issue. This isn't weird. People are so thankful for it. Now it's if you haven't spoken to them since they ordered their product and now it's a month later or 3 months later and you're like, so it's time to reorder, right? I mean, that's just like, ooh, that doesn't feel good, does it? And you even know it doesn't feel good, and that's why you don't even do it. Ooh, so don't do that. Don't be that person. Do what Leigh said. Follow up consistently. I love it. Just tell them, hey, you know what? I'm going to be following up with you. So, and again, this is just a simple marking in the calendar a few weeks out from when they're going to run out. Or a couple weeks. Most places are getting their products within 6 business days. So I don't like to do it 6 days before their product runs out, but maybe like, 10 to 14 days for sure. It's just like, hey, you're, a week or so away from running out of, TLS Core. Did you want to help me? Did you want me to help you on the site reordering? We could set up a time, ? And then wait for the answer, whether it's text or conversation. Then I always like to mention, did you know that there's a discount for auto? You have to set it up. It's not something I set up, but I can help you set it up. Mm-hmm. I always like to mention that because I think a lot of companies, they have people set up the distributors or the owners or the whatever set up auto ship, and then people are sort of stuck in this program they don't even want to be in. And what makes our company so unique is that all of our auto ships are customer directed. That means you decide when you get it. That means you decide when you want to stop the auto ship or turn it on or all of those things. And I think that's a selling feature, honestly, especially
Yes.
when people have been looped into things they didn't want to be in.
I actually come across that a lot with our skincare because they're like, okay, I was using a different brand at one time and it kept coming monthly and I had all this stuff I didn't need. Do I have to do that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, absolutely not. That's not, this is when you need it kind of thing. But yeah, you can definitely, it's so easy to spread that out even. And, it's not a consistent whatever, but I have to ask you if you ever have this happen, but so many times I'll just reach out and say, hey, you popped in my mind. I just wanted to reach out and see how you're doing. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm glad you reached out because I need this, or I need that, or I need, and they will tell you what exactly they need. And I'm okay with that. If I have to assist them with putting that order in, I am so fine about that, especially some of my elderly clients. Like they're like, I don't want to mess with the computer. I'm like, that's totally fine. I could definitely do that for you.
Oh, I know. I have had that happen. And I think sometimes when someone's dragging their feet, I always ask, is it easier if I
Yes.
place the order for you and you just send me through Venmo? Is that easier for you? And they're like, oh my God, thank you so much.
Yes.
Like they're like, I don't see their order come in when they said they were going to order. And I was like, look, I wanted to make sure, did that you wanted to get your product. Is it easier for you too? And that is my line sometimes. And for making sure that they're just not overwhelmed, right? It's not one more thing they got to do is go to my site and order. I can order it myself and they Venmo me the total that I give
That's what we're
them.
there for, really. I mean, we're customer managers, so we don't need thousands of customers, right? We just need those core group of customers ordering on a regular basis. So do those things, make it easy for them. Think about the things that you would like someone to help you with, or when you're busy.
Exactly. Yes, please grocery shop for me. So I mean that is like the best thing since COVID is
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh my God. Okay.
picking up your groceries, driving up, hop in the back, they put them in, you drive home, then you got to put it away. But
I know, and this is what you got to think is that your customers would love that kind of concierge experience.
yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the thing we all dread, but it's all happened to us. So let's just address the elephant in the room, okay? Yes, we've all had a prospect who goes missing in action. Crickets everywhere. They're not getting back to you. They are just gone like a fart in the wind, okay? What do you do? One of the first things I do is always say, oh my gosh, I'm so worried about you. We had an appointment or I've tried to reach you a few times. Please let me know you're okay. This is like really important. You don't take it personally and think they just stiffed you or they're ignoring you. I know that I had gotten a ton of messages just earlier this week and emails and people wanting, to chat with me. And guess what? I was in the hospital with my husband this week. And so if people had don't take it personally. You have no idea why they might not have gotten back to you or why your email was missed or your text message was missed. Cause I know that chances are there's some people out there who think I was ignoring them this week. And so understand that things happen in life and it's probably not about you. So your first reaction should always be concern. Are you okay? Is everything fine? Please let me know, things like that. Now, after several attempts, one of the messages I like to send, especially when it comes to business prospects, is, hey, Leigh, I know we've been speaking about the unfranchise, my business, and it seems to me it's not great timing for you to be evaluating it. I'll follow up with you later. You can contact me at any time to re-engage, appreciate you and the time you did give. Right. And that's it. That's all. And what I'm doing here is simply closing that door and letting them off the hook. And it gives them a big sigh of relief. And then guess what happens shortly thereafter? I hear from them.
Yeah.
because I've let them off the hook. I've let them know it's okay, no big deal. This isn't like affecting our friendship or our relationship or anything like that. I'm just being professional and persistent. And that I feel is so important in this business. You're not wanting to burn any bridges. So seems like it's not a great timing for you to be evaluating the business. I'll follow up with you later. And it could be, really, again, just they feel some pressure of like, oh my gosh, what if I disappoint Melanie, or what if I disappoint Leigh, right? They're worried about disappointing you. So when you let them off the hook, it's like they can breathe and now they can talk with you again.
But I also like how you tell them that you're going to follow up with them later. So you're not like totally closing the door, because I think that's what some people do. And then they don't ever want to reach out to them again because it's awkward, right? So you're not saying I'm never going to reach out to you again. I just realized that like right now is probably not a good timing. And it's kind of like a psychological thing. When you take something away from someone, then they're like, well, wait, I guess maybe she doesn't like need me that bad, and that she's not just looking for anybody. And I kind of do want to know what she's talking about, or it is, and it gets them to respond and let you know what's going on. And usually it's like, oh, I've been so busy, I'm so sorry, I'm not ignoring you. And you're like, hey, that's okay, I understand, and you can just have that dialogue with them.
For sure. All right, moving on.
Now, what about inviting to an event or training? So I like to do this not only with business partners, but also customers or prospects. And you can just let them know, like, I wanted to reach out to you because I know you have an interest in health and wellness, and I would love to invite you to maybe one of Dr. D's talks. Maybe it's going to be a product training we have. And so many times they're like, wow, thank you so much for thinking about me. Or you can just say, we have an incredible event coming up, and I just had to tell you about it because I thought that you would really enjoy it. And then I always say this, tickets are limited, or there's, only so many spots, there's limited seating. So let me know if you'd like a spot at the event. And they're like, yes, I do. And then you can help secure that. But think of that, look at your list of people, and even what we have upcoming with World Conference, anybody can attend that. So if you have some prospects that are really seriously looking, or they're just not sure, let them know we have that. And we'll talk a little bit about that. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we always have things going on that you can invite them to.
Yes, we have, in fact, our upcoming World Conference. So just write in the chat right now why you would attend our conference live or virtually, why it's important as UFOs that we do that. Just go ahead and write it in the chat for us. We'll talk a little bit about this in regards to, the importance of, the events. And so obviously energy, recharging batteries, building belief, leverage, learning, all fantastic answers here. In person is more powerful. Absolutely. I have to agree with you, Scott. Learning everything from the best of the best. Speed of technology, learning about what's new in our company. And isn't it amazing what they do every 6 months? Building momentum. Yes. Hearing about what's new. I'm always amazed at what we can all accomplish.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible.
6 months. Yes, for sure.
I actually have never missed a major event like this. And I always need it when we have one, just to kind of recharge your batteries. I saw someone put that, it can be hard and we get busy, and it's just nice to like reset, refocus, and just do all of that.
And so that all of those things need to come to the conversation when you're selling a ticket. And this is one of the things that I do say you do have to sell. I really feel like we educate in every other way, but when it comes to our events, we're selling them. All right. This is like Bon Jovi is coming to town, Lady Gaga is coming to town kind of feeling here. We are selling this. And so I love to say, this is your next step. Give them the details of the training, when they would want, when it would be, the ticket is how much. But really what's most important is we're expressing why they would want to come. So is it that they get to meet the mover and shakers because they're social butterflies? Is it because they're going to get all the knowledge they need to make a decision if this is for them or not, because they're, kind of more detail orientated, analyzing, need to feel secure in their decision. And so this is the way you're going to feel secure. This is the way you're going to know why, because you're going to learn so much in 3 days. It's so information packed. It's absolutely amazing. All of those things, the energy, it's where you're going to learn and hear from the company that you have at your fingertips, right?
Affordable. I mean, even in the beauty world, like to go to a 3-day event, do you know how much money that would cost? It blows my mind. It really does.
Yeah, it's thousands of dollars in the other industry that I'm in with speaking and training, thousands of dollars to come to one of my 3-day programs. To our 3-day program is $200, so it's pretty amazing. And I always like to mention how much I love that about our company. What I love most is you're not spending thousands of dollars to get educated. Our company isn't nickel and diming you on that. So these are all the reasons why. You can't just expect them to go because you said they should go. This is where we're really selling why they'd want to come. And then you've got to use the closing statement, which is Venmo or PayPal. That's it.
And that's a lot of times, you need to let them know how they're going to pay you. But when I tell them the ticket price, I'm like, and the ticket is only, and I tell them then, and they're like, wow. And if I was like, is it okay that the ticket's $200? They're going to be like, well, should I be concerned that it's $200? So it's all in how you say it with posture. But I also love how you compared it to some of those concerts, because it's just that, like, you can't, if someone's not there, you can't come back and explain everything that you learned and that you saw. It's because it's an experience. It really is.
Absolutely. And we are blessed to have both.
Oh, Venmo or PayPal.
Exactly. Venmo or PayPal, Leigh.
Thank goodness.
Oh. And even people are like, then what that opens up, just that simple statement, you guys, opens up your person. And in this case, I'm just using Leigh. So I'd say Venmo or PayPal, and Leigh would be like, oh, you know what? Would you take cash? I'm like, absolutely. Would you take a check? Absolutely. It just opens that conversation now. So that's why it's just the simplest closing statement you can when it comes to a ticket. Now, let's say you have somebody who's like, well, the cat's having puppies and I've got to check with the spouse and there's a baseball schedule and they got like a bazillion things going on. And so you got to follow up with them. And Leigh's got some great tips here for you.
Yeah. And I also do this, like if somebody said, maybe early on, like, yeah, I'll take one of those tickets, but you couldn't close them at the time. Well, now it's like, it's down to the wire. And by the way, there's still time. Like there is still time to get people there. And if some of you are kind of on the fence, like there is still time. So creating that sense of urgency, I'll say things like, I know you said you were intending on attending World Conference or, whatever it is. I only have this one ticket left. Tickets are going fast. Did you secure your ticket yet? Here's my Venmo link, some of those things. And I'm sure we've all been at local seminars where they're like, we're almost sold out. We're almost sold out, because people do tend to wait. I don't know why. It's just human nature. They're like, I'll wait until right before. I'll wait until then. And I'll wait till then. No, like get your ticket, just get it over with. Don't procrastinate about it. If you're intending on going, let's do it. You can also say, I'm so excited for this event. It's coming up. Let me help you finalize your plans. Do they have their airfare? Do they have their hotel? Do they need a roommate? Do they need help packing? Like, I don't know. What do they need help with? I'm there to help them. And a lot of times, like I've even had people where they're like, well, I never flew before. Or, and they've got some of these fears and it's like, okay, let's work through this. Like, let's do it together. Like sometimes people need that push. So we sometimes have to like dig a little bit to figure out what's holding them back, but you gotta get that ticket.
Yeah. Eric sold a ticket today. So way to go, Eric. That's awesome. one of the, we have an incredible session after this. So we've got to kind of zoom through this next little bit here, but you don't want to miss our interview with Drayton Hodo. So join us for that here at the top of the hour. So closing a partner, there is several ways to do this. Obviously the 1 to 10 scale, which is, you know, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you are ready to rock and roll, you're ready to partner, you're ready to register your account. You were like, hey, let's do this yesterday. Where are you on that? You know, 1 being like, this isn't for me. Where are you on that scale? And so that can kind of help you get a barometer of where somebody's at and if they need more information or that kind of thing. There's also one that's really tried, tested, and true is like, hey, I feel you're ready to go. Any reason that you have that would hold you back from registering your account? And if you're doing the trial run, which I love doing the trial run, I love having them put me in front of people. I love helping them with, you know, getting some new customers. They're not even on board yet, and we're doing the business. And if they're doing those things, they're buying products, they're putting me in front of people, and they are they've bought a ticket to the event, I'm going, you know what? You've shown me that you're willing to do what successful owners do in our company. I'm ready to bring you on board. You are qualified. So what day are we going to register your account? And then we set the time. By this time, they're practically begging you to come on board anyway, which is why I love the trial run. So,
and they need to be told sometimes like what the next step is. They don't always know. It's like, okay, so now the next step is.
For sure. We'll wrap it up, you guys, because we've got some amazing stuff coming up in our next segment. So email your accountability sheets to masterufo@marketamerica.com. Definitely want to identify 3 people at least. I'd say do it 3 people a day, but 3 people this week that need a follow-up call from you. All right. Ask them to take a specific action. Have an action in mind when you call them, or just say hello. But definitely we're in that crux time, you guys, where you could be moving a ticket. We gave you some scripts, some ideas. I hope you took screenshots. Hope you had some aha moments and got some great tidbits. Report your results in, and we're excited to celebrate with you next week. We've got a great segment set up for you next week. It won't be Leigh and I, though. I know, it's so sad.
You only got us tonight.
Right. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate all of you. Leigh, you're amazing. I love working with you.
Yeah, this was fun. This was like the first time we got to do this. So I had a blast.
Yes. So we'll see you soon on the next segment, you guys. Take care.
Bye, everyone.